folks, welcome to race number 15, if my math checks out right, of the Bwoah Racing League Season 5. It's the Italian GP, the Temple of Speed, and as always, it's your hosts Sarthak and Dalvin. Dalvin, much to be spoken about the track itself and the historic significance in the league itself this track holds. But before all that, how was your league race today?
Oh, today? Well, technically it was yesterday, but
okay.
it went well. We raced in Spain. Not a track that many people like, but it's one of my best and favorite tracks because that was the first track that got me into sim racing, believe it or not. Be it on a different racing title, but whew, that was the beginning. And here we are today, fast forward 5 years, I think, and today here we are for the Bwoah Racing Italian GP, another favorite circuit, partly because I'm a good old Ferrari fanboy. Or just passionate, maybe, if you know the reference. But
you can put me on that list too. We got 15 drivers out on track, few of them being Ferrari fanboys themselves, so they'll thoroughly enjoy the race that's yet to begin. But first 18 minutes of shock qualifying as a couple of the drivers come out on track. First to be a few Mercedes drivers, as specifically Baby Shumi and Siknig. Well, Davin, I presume you are still on the comms.
Oh yeah, I am.
Okay.
Just waiting for a cue.
Yeah.
I was saying, Baby Shumi and Sikning, as always, the Mercs, always the first one to leave the garage, and I guess they're just getting some early shakedown of the track, get used to the track conditions, build up for their final run, and there we are. They're first on the track. And more drivers coming out on track as well. Monza, Sarthak, I think historically it's been proven qualifying doesn't matter here, right?
Yeah. Does it though? I mean, think about it. I mean, last season, of course, we saw General Pepe on pole position. He almost lost the race lead to the likes of UK at race start, but quickly retook the race lead thereafter. But what unraveled later on was something neither of us expected. General Pepe getting wiped out onto the gravel and losing out on podium positions to the likes of KDB as well as UK, if my memory serves me right. But yeah, you could say that was the biggest upset of season 4, and that turned the championship around in the favor of KDB at that point in time.
Yeah, and guess what, Sarthak, our championship leader, is not here.
Yeah.
And he's on a little break, so guess what? That's just opening an opportunity for everyone else to catch up in the championship.
Yeah.
Dare say, even take the lead in the championship come the end of this month.
Yeah.
How does it look?
Yeah. Speaking of which, Davin, before we even head into that, you talk about the Drivers' Championship. RB Ferrello, 14, he was the one who was looking to, capitalize on the absence of Envy, and he seems to have retired from the session. There will be no lap time set by the man during this qualifying session, so yet again, we'll get to see him start at the back and probably finish on the podium.
Yeah, earlier I was speaking to him, I asked, hey RB, last to first again? He was like, nah, not this time. But unfortunately, he had a crash coming out of Ascari chicane, one of the toughest corners to nail in this circuit. And the curbs in this circuit itself, they tend to punish you if you take too much liberties with them. And RB Fellow becomes the first one to fall victim to that. But we know, he's not the type who's he's not a slouch. We can say that. He's gonna put on a great performance from the back of the grid. So yeah, looking forward to that. And in the meantime, I think his teammate is going pretty good, keeping it safe so far. Beryl Vix coming down Lesmo 2 onto the back straight, the last of the DRS straights, running down to Ascari. Let's see if he can keep it clean as compared to his teammate.
Yeah, meanwhile, we see a couple of lap times on the board with the likes of Mr. Wex being the fastest out there, 1 minute 21.874, and just quickly taken away by the likes of Gods. Staying on board, Wex 356, he should get Bill Slipstream from Drunken Monkey into Sector 3, but he's invalidated his lap time, so that's going to be redundant, isn't it?
Yeah, once again, track limits here, along with the deadly curbs, probably the deadliest combo you can have here. Slippery curbs, tight track limits, high speed, and it's probably a recipe for invalidating all your laps. KDB, while we're all waffling about track limits and whatnot, has set the provisional pole of 20.9 on the softs.
Yeah, if it's any race to do well for KDB, it's got to be this one. Absence of envy. RB Ferrello not set a lap time in qualifying. I even don't see the likes of Derp out on track either. He's another driver in the top 5 in the Drivers' Championship, contending as well. So yeah, this has got to be the race where KDB wins this. No questions asked.
Yep. Then again, it also comes down to strategy over here because a lot of drivers have pretty much confirmed that mediums to soft, the alternate strategy is much faster if you have the front running pace. So for the likes of RB Ferrello, let's not discount him out just yet, because even if he's starting last, say there's no safety cars, he might be at the end of the race, he might win it if he has the pace. Then again, as we know, safety cars tend to play a lot of factor into our races. So strategy, again, tire selection is going to be key for the drivers as well.
Right, and as you pointed out, we got 2 drivers who would possibly be coming out on the medium soon enough, but on the main straight, that's a Red Bull giving a fantastic tow to the likes of not his teammate, or is it? It was after all.
Yep.
Yeah, the Red Bull pair giving each other the slipstream they need, a tow in fact, and it just might seem like Drunken Monkey's the one who received that tow. As he starts his fast lap, Big Man Joe did take the escape route in Sector 1, and no, they've traded yet again, Drunken Monkey going incredibly slow.
Yep, probably not having the best of exits out of turn 1 and 2. Yeah, maybe they're gonna have another go, or they're just rehearsing for something in the race. Or later in the qualifying, let's see. In the meantime though, some more fast times are coming in. Cuba Abi, wow, sets a P2 time of 21. Oh, only a 10th, just under a 10th behind KDB. McLaren 2 and 3, this looks very familiar to real life, isn't it, Sato?
Yeah, it does. It awfully does. Gouts looking like he's brought his A game out on track. Freeze has retired from the session, so we got another retirement in qualifying from the likes of Freeze. He has set a lap time and he's already tumbling down to 6th fastest on the board. Andre picks off 5th fastest, so I don't think it'll give him a good start position, or it just might.
Just might, maybe. If he's fortunate enough to drop to P11, he will have the free tire choice, which can play into his favor. Unless, he's adamant on starting on these soft tires, then either way, he'll be getting a fresh set because these tires are gone. So, lucky him, I guess. But let's see, come the end of qualifying. Oh, I'm riding on board with Drunken Monkey, and he looks a bit drunken on the exit of Parabolica. Also, recently renamed to Curva Alboreto, if I'm right, which means Mr. Alboreto's curve or something like that.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Okay.
Look at that, sick
All right.
Nick. Mercedes setting the pace, 20.7. I wonder where the pace come from.
Yeah, and speaking of which, mind you, Thicknick and KDB used to be teammates last season. It'd be fun to see them battle it off the line itself, but too early to say. 10 minutes of short qualifying left. I'm riding on board Hyrox 24. He was slower in Sector 2 compared to his previous lap time, so I don't think he'll be bettering his lap time anytime soon. A lap time from each one of the drivers out on track. Definitely not the greatest from Big Man Joe.
Yep, and we are in Monza, and Hyrox and Gambler, who's stepping in for Envy today. I think they have a little bit of home pressure being put on them, as well as the AlphaTauri drivers of Andre and I don't see his teammate here, but Ferrari and AlphaTauri, they better get their horses running, because home race, you want to impress at least a podium over here. Top 4 are being dominated by Mercedes power teams. Something to brag about? Yeah,
perhaps still early. Let's just say, for the sake of the Ferrari fans, including ourselves, for the day at least, it is a bit early to say anything. 10 minutes left to short qualifying, and that lap time from Big Man Joe has improved 1 minute 24.995. Still not his best. I'm hoping to see him in the top 5 like he does. He's always got that last minute clutch. He comes home to clutch it at the very end of qualifying session. He will qualify in the top 3. Baby Shumi goes 4th fastest, splits the McLarens.
Yep, make that 5 Mercedes powered teams in the top 5. Make that sixth now. No, my bad.
Nah.
Street is in a Haas. So that's at least a Ferrari powered team in the top four for now. A little bit of a relief for the Tifosis there. In the meantime, I think Red Bull powered teams might want to be doing something about their pace. Drunken Monkey and Big Man Joe all the way down in P12 and 14.
Andre, fastest lap time on the board for the man in the AlphaTauri, in the in-game AlphaTauri team.
There's some response from the home team. Puts a P1 and what a time.
Isn't
3.5 times faster than Sicknick.
Yeah, but isn't it a bit of a stinger, the fact that Andre is in fact the reserve driver for the in-game McLaren team? You see Kuberabi and Gouts probably showing their best out on track, and we might just see them in the top 5 after all. But Andre, for the second consecutive time, right, 2 consecutive races, he's been doing incredibly well, but not for the team he's actually in. So probably a bit of a hit in the constructors fight.
That's the funniest thing, isn't it? How the dynamics work between the reserve drivers and the constructors. One point, one good performance, and there you go. You suddenly gain over your rivals. Monza once again might be the chance for Andre to prove his points.
Yep, might just be. We'll find out. 7 minutes left to show qualifying, and we've still not seen the best from the likes of Big Man Joe and Drunken Monkey, in my opinion. Streeter, of course, in the top 5, pretty capable of being in the top 3 in qualifying sessions. We've seen him do equally well in the BRL itself. Let's stay on board iRox24. Seems like he just might start a fast lap. Might head into the pits, but it's car number 69, so it's worth a gamble.
Indeed, gamble it is, and Harry Rocks out on the mediums. He is going for a lap, and let's see, he just starts his lap. Yeah, he was on his out lap, as you said. So into turn 1, let's ride at bot. 100-meter bot coming up, and just before that breaks for it. Takes turn 1 and 2 a little cautiously, but clean traction. Oh, as I say that, no more clean traction. Abandons the lap. Yep, turn 1 and 2 pretty difficult to nail as well. These curbs here, again and again, they are catching on the drivers. Not the easiest track to nail, but once you nail that, I think you're gonna be close to the pole.
Yep. All eyes on Mr. Wex, perhaps. He's 2 tenths up in his sector time so far. He's 12th fastest on the board. He'll be looking into creeping into the top 5. We've seen him do that before, quite conveniently. We've seen a podium out of him in this season as well. He'll be looking to probably, maybe this is audacious of me to think, but pull off a win around Monza. Just might. Kuberabi goes 2nd fastest.
Yep. That's a quick lap as well. Only 2.5 tenths behind Andre for now. Mr. Vex coming around the last corner very, very wide, pushing the car onto the limits at Parabolica. Comes across the line and sets P6 21.1. Look at that, Satek. P3 onwards to P7, P8. It's just 4 to 5 tenths. If you nail a lap, I think you might just gain 5 or 6 position off the start.
Yeah. I'm thinking about the race start already, as I always jump into it pretty early on into qualifying itself. Unfortunate to see only 15 drivers out on track. 15 pretty competent drivers to see. Some to climb through the pack, some to hold their positions up in front, but wheel-to-wheel action for sure. Sicknick betters his lap time, goes 2nd fastest.
Yep, and I'm riding on board with his teammate Baby Shumi, who is coming across Parabolica to start his lap time on the mediums. So was that 121.3 a sandbag? Is he gonna go faster this time around? Does he have the pace and confidence to nail it? Let's ride on board with him. Seems to be the only driver out on track setting a lap time. Down turn 1, 340 kph. That's how much speed you can carry in Monza. Turn 1, turn 2, nails it. Gets a clean exit out of turn 2 and up to the oh my god, I'm forgetting the track name, man, the corner names.
It's okay. It happens.
Down into the next section. Yep. He's down just about a tenth on his best time on the soft, so there's a bit of time to be found, definitely. And into Lesmo 1, throws the car in, and let's run wide. Next comes Lesmo 2, once again throws the car in, a little bit cautious, a little bit wiggly on the exit, looks like it. But DRS activated, and now it's a very, very long but quick run down to a scary chicane, a left coming up. Oh, and he invalidates his lap, cuts the first corner, and there goes his lap. He was looking looking poised. He was poised for a good lap there. Might even have beaten his earlier lap. He might just start another one.
Yeah, even through the course of the race itself, we'll get to see that happening for quite a bit of drivers. Not invalidating their lap times, of course, it is the race itself. They'll be incurring penalties, time penalties and warnings through that chicane, the Ascari chicane. But yeah, all eyes on the board as there's only 3 minutes left to show qualifying to end. Andre's on provisional pole, Streeter's coming out of the pits, and Gauts just began his fast lap.
Yep, 3 minutes to go, and that should be 1 or 2 laps at most for everyone. Gauts, who was provisionally in P3 earlier, has been knocked down to PA, like you said. 1 second is the gap to pole. How much more can he pull out? Kubarabi, though, his previous best of 20.6 still keeps him in P3.
Alright, so yeah, Gauts will be looking to start next to Kubarabi, or moreover in front of him. Who knows? But for now, it's Andre. Like I said earlier, provisional pole. KDB is on out lap. Kubarabi, Streeter, those 3 drivers, Dalvin. I expect to see stellar laps from them at the end of this qualifying session. Kubarabi, KDB, and Streeter, all 3 pretty competent drivers. We've seen them on pole position at least once before. KDB, not this season, however. We've not seen him on pole even once this season. Am I right with that stat?
Yep.
Yeah? Okay.
You're right, I guess.
Yeah. Fair enough. Oh, God. I was just looking at the stat sheet last night, and I figured 5 pole positions for the man Dub. But yeah, he's not there out on track today, so let's stay on board. Gauts as he comes across the finish line.
Only a tenth.
Only
Just
a
under
tenth.
improvement. Yep. And look at that, Sartek. The Red Bull boys are up for it again. This time, Big Man Joe getting the benefit of the tow from Drunken Monkey. Big Man Joe trying to qualify on the mediums here. Sets 24.9 on the first lap, so that's definitely a sandbag lap time. And look at that interesting tactics here by Red Bull here to give enough tow to Drunken Monkey. Is Drunken Monkey gonna cut the track and give some more tow? No, looks like not. So there we go. Big Man Joe now all on his own, all down to his setup and driving. How much can he improve? Can he get into the top 10 with these medium tires? A cheeky little toe maybe from Baby Shimmy, but nah, that's not gonna be enough. Heading down into a scary chicane. Let's see if he can nail it this time. A little bit cautious, looks like it, but pretty good run through the left, right, and left, and there we go. Back onto the back straight. Up next is the Parabolica. One last corner, one last hurrah. Let's see. Into the braking zone. Throws the car in, still a little bit cautious there, taps the curb a little bit, and now bring the car back to the right side for the shortest run to the line. Big Man Joe, what is it gonna be? It's gonna be a 1:22.0. That's only good for P13. Only P13, Sartek.
Yeah. On the mediums though. So perhaps something to think about for Big Man Joe. We are down to the last 10 seconds, so this could be a lap time for him. I don't see him improving. Okay, probably he will, knowing it is Big Man Joe. But for now, all eyes on the top 5. Qualifying has come to an end. Andres hasn't done a stellar Sector 1 at all. Let's stay on board Sicknig, who is in Sector 2. An unorthodox line from him. Kubarabi as well. Either my timesheets are glitching, the sector times are glitching for me, or it could be the top 3 are incredibly slow in Sector 1. KDB's qualifying session ends.
Yep, he is not across the line at the right time, so he will not be able to start another lap. Andre abandons his lap as well, so I think Sarthak, you are pretty right. He's not improving as well. Sicknick might just go for a bigger one. No, he doesn't improve. Only 2/10 down on his best time, so their first lap was pretty much the best. Kubarabi is still in Lesmo 2. It's out of battery though, so I don't think he's going for another lap anymore.
Yeah, but he was quicker in Sector 1 and he is quicker in Sector 2 as well compared to his previous lap time, so we might just see him go up a position or two. Mind you, Gauts, his teammate, is on a fast lap. No, he's actually incredibly slow in Sector 3 probably.
Kubarabi is 2/10 up, Sarthak.
Yeah.
And into a Scurry, almost there. He just needs a bit more. He might just secure the pole or even the front row here.
Might just around the final corner. Kubarabi across the line. Can he beat that lap time from the likes of Sickning and Andre? No, he slows down at the line. Does he? He's ran out of fuel?
I think he might have run out of fuel
Yeah.
there. Or was it a
I-
glitch? Was it a glitch? I don't know.
Could be either.
But yeah, he
Stre-
does not improve.
Yeah, and Streeter heads into the pits. And with that, folks, that ends qualifying session. Sicknick, what a lap time he's put in. He gets front row start, but it's the highlight for Andre for the first time in the Bwoah Racing League. He's on pole position.
Yep. Well done to Andre with that 20.4. It was probably his one and only lap time that counted, but he made it count for sure. And Sicknick there alongside him in P2. How important is it going to be? Bwoah and KDB, who are in row 2, might they get a jump? Might they get a good old slipstream down into
Might
turn
just.
1 and make the jump? Only time will tell as we head into the race.
Trying to recall where UK started off in season 4. Which grid box did he start on? Did he start P2? Did he start P3? Because I have a feeling he was in P3 and he got that jump at the race start and he was able to pick off General Pepe into turn 1. So yeah, there's opportunity there at race start. Mr. Wex in the top 5 after all, Dalvin.
Yep. Finally, a Ferrari powered team up there, and I think they'll be happy. Hyrox and Gambler down in P9 and 10, but their pace looks pretty similar, so they might pull off a wonder maybe in the race. Let's see if they have something up their sleeves to pull it back in the race, which it's definitely not too difficult to overtake in the race. Let's see.
Meanwhile, folks watching, make sure you drop in the chat. Who do you think will come out on top at the very end of this race? Make sure you don't go anywhere, however. The race will begin soon enough. We'll have the formation lap. And, of course, after the 90% mark of the race itself, we'll have a poll popping up on your screens for Road Runner of the Day. You'll be able to pick from a select few drivers, pick from our own team here, to see who do you think have been doing well throughout the course of the race. The most positions made, perhaps, or the ones who've been making moves out on track around the Temple of Speed.
And guess who we have in the chat cheering on for KDB? It's his rival, Envy.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Now that's a scene to be seen. Yeah, okay.
But David, I'll tell you this, for Envy, that's the best case scenario. KDB, he's down in 4th in the driver's title fight, or maybe 3rd for that matter. There is no scenario where Envy is cheering for RB Ferrello. RB Ferrello is probably just a few points off of Envy at this point. There used to be 100 points gap between the two, but not anymore. Envy, you've missed too many races, buddy. You gotta come back.
Yep, let's hope while he's away, everyone is playing catch up, because once Envy's back, he might just go on a rampage and win all the races once again. But yeah, let's see. RB Fellow today might be looking at a potential championship lead after this race. Let's hope he gets it as he wants. And Envy will be hoping he does not get it. So KDB, buckle up.
Yeah. Oh. Unfortunate not to see UK out on track in Derp. All these incredibly quick drivers missing out on race days is a bit disappointing, but hopefully we'll get to see them in the next race. But yeah, It was Monza. Come on, boys. Who misses Monza?
It's turning into a Monza 2020, isn't it? With a lot of the big hitters at the back or out of the race. And we have a surprise winner in the form of Pierre Gasly at that time. I wonder if we're going to get a new race winner today.
Yeah.
I wonder.
We just might. Who knows if it's Andre? Who knows if it's somebody else out on track? But for now, here's the formation lap. 15 drivers out on track. They'll be trying their best to get heat into their tires ahead of the race. A 27-lap race. 50% race distance, of course. And all eyes on the tires fitted by each one of the drivers. Top 10 all on softs.
Yep. Top 10 on the softs. That's pretty much where they qualified on. So kind of forced to go on that, but that also means they are going to commit to the soft strategy to start off. So soft, medium, soft, hard, whichever it may work for them. And interestingly, the rest of the grid, P11 onwards, all on the mediums, like you said. So it's a long game for them. And the master of long games is all way at the back. Well, it's coming once again. It's coming.
Okay.
Well, let's hope he gets past turn 1 first in order to put up a show. And as we know, Monza, turn 1, open lobbies, even in league races, it's a bit of a well, nightmare. If that's the best word to put it.
Yeah, hopefully it's not like an open lobby here out on track in the Bwoah Racing League. More often than not, it's just the race start that gets a bit too sketchy for some of these drivers, especially in the midfield. We've seen that happen once before, many times before, in fact, let's be honest. But yeah, hopefully I mean, they have gotten cleaner over time, and in Season 5, we've seen the cleanest of race starts. I think just going wheel to wheel, some of them get caught off guard, unlucky every now and then. But yeah, I'm excited to see a race start being led by the likes of Andre, followed by Siknig and the likes of Kubarabi as well. Of course, out of these three, we've seen Kubarabi relatively in front more often than not. Siknig, we haven't seen him in the top three ever since Season 4 for that matter. We did see him competing during the race with the front runners, but not at race start, have we?
Yeah, well, I wasn't here until late last season, so I'm not up to speed with all the stats. But Sadek, I think I trust you on the stats, so this might just be his first front row.
Yep.
Or let's see.
Coincidentally, Siknig didn't start showing up in the front half of the grid until you joined, Dalvin. That's a stat for you.
Yep, and another fun fact, we both drive the Mercs in our respective leagues.
Oh, okay.
What's happening there? I wonder. Oh well, regardless of that, there we go. RB Fellow last on the grid with his teammate alongside him in P14 and 15.
Yeah.
There we go. 5 laps are coming on. Let's see.
We got 15 drivers out on track at the Temple of Speed. It's race number 15 and the lights out. And there's a standing McLaren out on track. An incident with the back of the pack, but Andre holds on to the race lead. Sikning's coming for it, and so is Kubarabi. KDB watches on. He dives down the inside of the likes of Kubarabi. There's contact between him and Sikning, and he tumbles down the order.
Yeah, first lap and not even the first corner we have issues, so looks like Gouts had a pretty slow start. Probably his light didn't go off, but there we go. RB fell low, right on the case, right on the gearbox of Drunken Monkey, immediately down into turn 3. Will he make the move? And yes, he goes down the inside. Now stays back. He stays back for another lap. Oh, and there's contact. A little bit of contact. RB fellow goes in a little hot.
Yeah, he's got his teammate to support him for now. However, back up in front, the gaps are extending between the drivers. Vex trying to close in on the likes of KDB.
Yep, and in the meantime, Kubarabi, I think he has had an issue. At Lesmo 1, he's down all the way back in P15. Well, let's hope he recovers quickly. And up in front though, like you said, gaps are closing in. KDB seems to be struggling at the start. He's holding up a train. Mr. Vex and Streeter are right on his gearbox.
Yeah, and guess who's closing in? Is the likes of Irox24. Weaves to the right hand side of the track onto Streeter. He did seem like he was attempting to dive down the inside, but he's gonna have to hold back, and probably on lap number 3 he'll be poised to pick off a position or two. Andre sets the fastest lap time of the race so far.
Yep, I'm looking on board with Hyrox. He is looking like he's gonna send it into turn 1. Pulls across. No, he decides to keep it safe for another lap. Still a long race. You don't want to end it in turn 2, but gets a much better exit on Streeter into turn 3. Can he get a better run? Running down into turn 3. No, looks like not just yet. Not just yet. Maybe it's not the time yet, he says.
Oh, Streeter's just showing him almost intimidating him, you could say, by opening up a gap that much more. But Hyrox24 doesn't have what he needs so far on lap number 2. Meanwhile, right behind, it's almost Hamilton who's got a Verstappen right behind him. Baby Shumi and Big Man Joe within half a second of each other. They're getting into this fight soon enough. Baby Shumi as well. That gap all in the midfield, all within a second of each other.
Yeah, and DRS train here is pretty annoying to be in, honestly, but it's what that's going to keep you in the leading pack. And looks like KDB might be just the first one to fall out of that train. Mr. Vex as well had a poor run out of a Scurry. Looks like he's going to follow DRS as well.
Davin, we might just see a move after all. It's Gouts on the likes of Drunken Monkey. It's at the back of the pack for position number P13. And around the outside of the final corner, Gouts does peak, but will stay on the gearbox of Drunken Monkey. This time around, they're going to be wheel to wheel on the main straight.
Yeah, Gouts on the softs had a poor start but makes a good recovery. Now Drunken Monkey on the mediums will have nothing to defend except just his straight line speed. He's pulling away, pulling into the inside line to defend his line. Gouts, can he move around the outside? Is he going to brave it? No. Drunken Monkey though runs wide at turn 1. he still gets a good exit. Oh, well, so Gauss is not really making a move.
Yeah, back to the other Red Bull. However, Big Man Joe and Baby Shumi. Now down the inside he goes. He peaks the wheel to wheel. They're going to touch wheels as well. But it's Big Man Joe up in a P8 and Baby Shumi left hanging in P9.
Yeah, big balls there shown by Big Man Joe to get the move done early. And up into P7 he goes. On the medium tires, mind you. That's a good move. Gauss gets a move on Drunken Monkey once again. But he's not giving up. Drunken Monkey is still on the back of Gauss, and this time he will have the benefit of DRS. Will he be able to close up to Gauss? But no, Gauss looks like he's deploying his battery as well, defending pretty hard.
Yeah, and we got a stranded freeze, but back to Sicknig, who's taken the race lead.
He's taken the lead.
Yeah, he's taken the lead off of Andre, and that's in Sector 3, even before Parabolica and Cuba Rabi now on the gearbox of Andre. So it seems like Andre has fumbled somewhere, or he's probably got damage perhaps.
Yeah, I'm not sure there, but you don't want to be leading into the last corner, right? Because you'll just be giving the other guy an opportunity like this. Like Andre now makes a repass on Sicknig.
Contact between Cuba Rabi and Sicknig. Somehow both of them still out on track, but the man who just set the fastest lap times coming around the outside of Cuba Rabi. It's KDB on the likes of the man who's on the last podium position for now. It's lap number 4, and KDB, he charges on.
Oh, KDB goes for a very, very late dive there. I'm not sure if he meant to do that, but that was very close to taking Sicknig out of the race. That meant that both these drivers are now out of DRS range of each other.
And yeah, just like that, beyond 1 second is the gap. Let's say on board Cuba Rabi, he seems like he's set to line up a move soon enough on KDB. Probably not in the Ascari chicane, but Sector 3 if everything goes his way. And of course, Hyrox 24 within 2/10 of the likes of Mr. Wex. He's been in that 2/10, 3/10 race. Let's quickly hop on to him. Yep, same part of the track.
Yep, he is already side by side with Baby Shumi now. Ooh, look at that.
Yeah,
Baby Shumi, my bad, with Mr. Wex, but Hyrox lifts off just a little bit, tactically lifting off to get the DRS onto the pit straight. Now Mr. Wex runs a little wide there, or Hyrox is just tucking in to get a slipstream. Better run perhaps. And yeah, there we go. This might be a move coming in. Hyrox, he is sending it. No, but Mr. Wex has DRS on his teammate Streeter up ahead, so that will keep him safe for now.
Yeah, meanwhile at the back of the pack, Gamler has taken that position off of Vix 356. He's up in a P11, so both Ferraris looking feisty out on track, trying to get position after position, lap after lap, compared to the rest of the drivers who've only been extending those gaps between their competitors. Andre leads this race, continues to lead this race, now built a gap of over a second to Sicknig.
Yeah, the gap starts to open up among the top 4. Just about 1.5 to 2 seconds there between each other. Mr. Wex being the closest in the top 5 to his teammates, so that is keeping him alive. P4 and 5 for the Haas drivers. Ferrari, lead driver of the Ferrari today, Hyrox, is in P6 and catching up.
And yeah, Cuba Rabi, he seems like he's closing in on the likes of KDB. Mind you, he's got enough battery power to guarantee him a pass on KDB on any DRS zone you might see out on track. So yeah, it's just a waiting game here between these two. But Hyrox 24 on the likes of Mr. Wex finally gets the move done before Parabolica up into P6 he goes.
Yeah, and right ahead of him is the other Haas Australia, but he looks like he's a little too far, but let's not doubt it just yet, because DRS here with slipstream and a bit of battery might just get you the move done. But no, Mr. Wex is coming back. Mr. Wex is coming back around the outside. He will go. Oh no, he's almost going to tap his teammate. He has to run wide, and that gives Hyrox an opportunity to take back P6 and take hit. He will.
Yeah.
Cuba Rabi though, meanwhile, like I said, Satek, I think he might just be having some issues, because on my screen he's just popping up into P1 and then back to P13 repeatedly.
Oops.
So yeah. Dragon Monk is into the pits. Wow, that's a very early stop for him, and look at that wing change for him. So something must have happened to Drunken Monkey, and that will set him back.
Yeah, and to think Freeze has a over 20 second gap, which has come down to quite a bit considering Drunken Monkey was in the pits. But back to Cuba Rabi now, who's on the gearbox of KDB. Again, he finds himself in a similar position in the similar part of track as he did on lap number 5, but this time around he holds back even more.
Yeah, with these gaps opening up, we don't really see much battles coming in. But there are a select few. Mr. Wax, the only one closest to Hero. Herox now has managed to get back into the DRS of Streeter. So that means Herox will be safe for another lap, but at the moment he's being sandwiched by the horses.
Main straight.
Another move coming in.
Kuberabi on KDB. He finally does it around the outside of KDB into turn 1, but KDB tucks in right behind, ensuring he keeps that gap down within half a second of each other, and he's going to try his best to ensure lap number 7 goes his way. But Kuberabi seems to have pulled away just that much more, probably to up to half a second. On lap number 7, he's running P3.
Alright, that's definitely not what I'm seeing on my screen, because I don't see Kuberabi anywhere near KDB. So
Oops.
it's either something's happening wrong on my screen or your screen, or it's just the game playing its usual tricks. But one thing for sure, KDB is still in P3.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, KDB is on P4. You might want to rejoin the lobby, Galvin.
Sure will. Just give me a moment.
Sure, no problem. Meanwhile, out on track, it's Guts, the other McLaren, possibly prepping a move on the likes of X356, who went a bit wide in sector 2, and just like that he'll be closing in. He's got DRS as well up in front. The top 4 are all within a second of each other. Now Gouts, as I said, lining up a move on X356 down the inside. He will attempt to go on his old teammate. No, he's going to hold back, and Gambler picks up a 3-second time penalty after multiple warnings. We'll go back to the front of the pack soon enough. Kuberabi sets the fastest lap time out on track, and just like that, Gouts has lost time quite a bit to X356, and on lap number 8, Andre continues to lead this race out of Siknig in Kuberabi.
Yeah, I'm back, Sartek, and looks like with the rejoin, Kuberabi is indeed in P3 right now. And I have lost a bit of audio here in the game, but there we go. A quick bring up the old menu, and there we go, sounds back.
Brilliant. So yeah, to think we've not even had 10 laps of racing yet, and we've seen quite the jumble out on track, at least in the midfield. Top 3 hasn't changed, of course, with KDB seeming incredibly competitive out on track so far. He's waiting in his own way for a fumble by the top 3, all within a second of each other now. So it's been a while since we've seen them within a second of each other. Meanwhile, in the midfield, Baby Shumi on the likes of Mr. Wex, he's gotten the pass done and dusted. He's up in a P7.
Oh, what happened to Andre there? Is he lifting off? He is lifting off. He is letting Siknig go. Wow.
Kuberabi got run onto the grass, and Andre is in P2, almost went down into P3, but KDB is the one to capitalize. He's up in a P3, but Kuberabi can come back for that position, can't he?
Yeah, I'm not sure what Andre was trying to do. If he was gonna let someone through, probably the pit straight might have been the best to work together for now. But that didn't seem to be really safe. Andre now is under attack. He's been overtaken by Siknig, and Siknig manages to defend that. And it's bringing the top 4 closer together once again.
Yeah, and now Streeter on the likes of Hyrox 24 seems incredibly close, but Hyrox 24 seems to be pulling away and into the next corner. He's not going to have what he needs, Streeter. So again, we're going to wait it out to Sector 2, the DRS zone in Sector 2. For a possible move. But up in front, let's stay with these top front runners. Now KDB on the likes of Andre is a much more different situation compared to having Siknig on your tail, isn't it, Dalvin?
Yeah, I think with the experience and raw pace that KDB has shown from time to time, it might just be an easier overtake. But crucially though, with this late into the stint, tires are going to be wearing out, and you can already see Andre is sliding left and right, KDB as well sliding around, and none of them have enough battery to make a pass on each other. Yeah,
but Kuberabi seems to have found a bit of something to make sure he gets a pass, or maybe KDB just let him through just to ensure he's got DRS on the main straight. Seems to be holding on to the right hand side of the track, and rightfully
and the top 2 are into the pits. That's an early pit stop. KDB as well is going in. So that's an undercut coming in. So Kuberabi, he might go for the overcut. This might be the lap he has to push. So here we are. First few laps of the pit stops are coming in, and we might just see some interesting change of positions.
Yeah, Hyrox 24 and Gambler joined the top 3 in their pit stop pursuit. Kuberabi leads this race ahead of Streeter, Baby Shumi and Big Man Joe. RB Ferrero 14, the man who started P15, now runs P5.
Yep, and crucially, he was only 8 seconds behind the leader. So once he's out back on the soft ice, he will be making up all the time and possibly the positions as well for the win. So it's still not out of the question if he can win it, but it's just a matter of how he executes it. So first few laps are coming, first few drivers who have boxed, they are back out on track and they will be resuming their battle. Signic leading the run back down in P8. So the net race leader for now, it might just be him. Kuberabi coming through Ascari chicane, out of Ascari chicane now. He is really looking like he's gonna box this lap as well. It's a mega overcut he has to pull off here.
Yeah, meanwhile the drivers who made their pit stops pulling off moves in the midfield. Siknig on the likes of Gouts, who's lost a position to him. Now Siknig up in a P7. Now soon enough around the outside, off track even. Andre being a little too audacious onto the grass as well. In sector 3, he makes the move. No, he doesn't. They stay wheel to wheel, Gouts and Andre. And through Parabolica, it'll be Andre in front.
Yeah, that might just help his teammate there. Gouts just playing a little bit of a team game there, holding up the others. That might help Kuberabi to come out ahead. He's on the hearts though. And look at that. Kuberabi, will he come out ahead? No, Signic gets ahead. Signic gets ahead, but crucially, he's still within a second of them.
Oh, KDB overshoots it.
Someone runs wide. That's KDB.
Yeah, he runs wide. He'll be joining the track behind Kuberabi. Unfortunate for him. But yeah, Gouts tried his best. In fact, Andre went completely off track for that position. Pretty sure that's going to the stewards. Regardless, as it stands, big man Joe now leads this race.
Yep, and what a start it has been for him from the back, almost the back of the grid. And just under 2 seconds behind him is RB Fellow. They just minding their business for now up in front. And they're going to make the alternate strategy work, perhaps.
Yeah, Davin, mind you, Kuberabi's out on the hards. And he's the only driver out on track on the hards.
That's some ballsy move to take the hards around Monza because they're typically not the best tires you want to be going on. The mediums will just do their job fine and dandy till the end. But, if the race ends as it is without that magical car coming out, I think Kuberabi might just find a bit of a pace towards the last 4 or 5 laps. Oh, up ahead though, Andre and Signic doing the swapperoo once again. Playing some DRS catch up there. Yep. Side by side, they are onto the pit straight. Yeah. Oh, a little bit of wheel banging as well.
Keep it clean, boys. It is entertaining though. Wheel to wheel, these two on the main straight and into turn 1. Andre is the one up ahead, and he is into the podium positions already. So, riding on board Signic, who's ahead of Kuberabi and the likes of KDB, all within a second of each other, and Andre seems to be pulling away.
Yeah, the more they battle, the more it's gonna invite Kuberabi back into the queue. But right on his tail as well is KDB. The medium tire is working better against the hards at this stage. So KDB looking like he needs to make a move very quickly, and he looks impatient as the gap keeps growing between Andre and Signic. Kuberabi, KDB, they better get their move on as well.
Yeah, 11 lap home mediums if 2 front runners are on. Perhaps hoping for a possible safety car. Of course, a magical car, as you mentioned. but yeah, with the likes of the gaps not going anywhere, actually extending. In fact, any moves being made will be between these 3 who were in the front half of the grid, half of the pack, in fact, until they pitted. But all eyes on KDB. He's closing in on the likes of Kuberabi.
Yep. KDB now only 3 tenths, 2 tenths even almost there behind, coming out of Parabolica, but still DRS train. That's the reason they are not able to make a move. Signic though, he is running out of juice there, and he will be under attack very soon by Kuberabi. Will he send it into turn 1? But no.
Someone who is sending it to Arox 24 on the likes of Streeter. They're wheel to wheel, banging wheels as well in turn 1, in fact turn 1 and 2, and somehow they've braved it, both drivers, and Streeter still up ahead.
Yep, and interesting thing to bring up, Sartre, quickly. Let's just dive away from the battles real quick. The gap is not really coming down too fast though between Andre and the top 2 runners, so it's more and more playing into the hands of the top 2. Let's see in the coming laps if there's saving grace for them, or will the top 2 run away with it? Back to the battles.
Yeah, KDB and Kuberabi, we actually witnessed on screen KDB down the inside of Kuberabi at the exit of sector 2, making that move, and he's up in a P5, but Kuberabi is coming back for position, But yeah, this is not doing any justice for them, of course. Andre pulling away over a second, that gap to Siknig on lap number 13. It's still anybody's race.
Yep, Kuberabi might just be regretting the decision on the hards right now, unless it's something planned by the McLaren team before the race. So we'll have to see come the end of the race if that is going to pay off. But for the time being, DRS straight it is.
Yeah, let's quickly have a bit of stats on board. 12 positions made up by Big Man Joe, 13 by the man RB Ferrero. So the front runners can pat themselves on the back on lap number 14, but the job's not done yet. They're hoping to hold on to those positions come race end, come the 27th lap, and hopefully they will, for their credit. And
I tell you what though, with the gaps as they are, drivers behind them battling, they might just, put on a show towards the last few laps of the race, because they will be on the soft, they will be the fastest on track, and we will be seeing some brave overtakes coming in. And we know these two boys are not afraid of making the moves when it's necessary.
Precisely, and that gap's been a constant 2 seconds to 3 seconds between the two as well. So great to see that. Perhaps we'd like to see them within a second of each other, but that would take away quite a bit, and Andre would be closing in. Kuberabi's gap to KDB has extended over a second, and KDB's gap to Siknig has come down to half a second.
Yep, and crucially now, KDB within a second, he can also see Siknig. Signig's red light is coming on, so that means Siknig is under 10% battery, and now, possibly without DRS, he is going to be exposed on the pit straight. And look at that, KDB will go for a move now, but no, crucially, Siknig still has DRS.
Meanwhile, behind Hyrox 24, he tries to dive down the inside of Streeter. This time, even before turn 1, he's gotten the move done, so there won't be a wheel to wheel through turn 1 and 2, and Hyrox 24 will be up at a P7.
Yep, great move there to get it done before the braking zone. Makes it much easier to get a good run coming out of turn 2 as well. Well done by him. And up next for him is Kuberabi, who is struggling on the hard tires. Oh, Streeter, he's not giving up. It looked like he wanted to go for a move down into turn 3 again, but no, he thinks better of it.
Yeah, up ahead KDB, now 2/10 within Siknig, and on sector 3, it's going to be all to play for. Let's hop back into Streeter soon enough. All these cars, of course, lapping the likes of Freeze, who's down in P15.
Yep, Freeze there, I think, he's just, thankfully it's ghosted, so he doesn't really have to, mind that much of a gap. So all the drivers that are lapping him are true, which includes Siknig and KDB. And crucially again, KDB not able to make a move. The gap is not close enough, and RB Fellow, wow, he makes the jump on Big Manjo. This time around he goes for the undercut, and he will be going onto the softs. First one onto the softs. Let's see if that undercut pays off. Big Manjo, it's time for him to react and push for this lap. And on the main straight, it's Streeter who's pushing on to Hyrox 24 down the inside. He goes late braking into turn 1. Who's going to be up in front? It's going to be Streeter this time around. He's up in a P6. 3 seconds. Hyrox takes a tighter line and gets a better exit as well, and looks like he's going to go for a move again. Yep, he is gaining, he's gaining into turn 3. This might just be another move coming. Hyrox, will he go for it? No, thinks better of it once again. DRS here is just an easy tool to make a move, and no, Hyrox runs pretty wide at the exit of turn 4, and that puts him far away from Streeter. Meanwhile, the other Haas is vulnerable to the likes of RB Ferrello, who's up in a P9 right out of the pits and making moves out on track. Yep, wasting no time, straight away onto the case. 4-second gap for him. That's just the ideal situation for him. 4-second clear air, and that just means he has all the space in the world he needs. Precisely. Up in front, Siknig on the likes of Andre. Andre is incredibly slow. He's let both Siknig and KDB by, and that is, of course, probably strategic, as Siknig and KDB now, they're playing catch up in their own way. No, neither one of the drivers want to be ahead on the main straight. They're wheel to wheel, and here comes Andre. It's a 3-way fight to turn 1. DRS for the likes of KDB, Andre, but not Siknig. And Andre now vulnerable. No, KDB vulnerable, but around the outside comes Andre. Contact between the two. Contact. Andre sends a KDB spinning, and that means KDB will be fuming right at the back there. Yikes. Oh no, that's not how we want to end a battle. That's not how it should go.
But
But KDB though, somehow still in P3.
Yeah.
P4 keeps the gap.
The worst possible outcome. If only they'd kept it clean into turn 1. This has, however, bunched up the top 5 quite a bit. Now the significant gap has gone, and all within a second of each other, moreover.
Yeah, and Satek, look at that big man Joe and RB Fellow who, are on the sauce. RB Fellow has closed up the gap down to under 3/10 now with that undercut, and they should be getting a move on. If they start battling, they might just be losing even more.
Yep, with 10 laps left, things are getting quite heated out on track. That gap between Andre and Siknig seems to be tiptoeing around the 1 second mark.
Oh, Freeze goes for a little spin there, and is that the end of his race? Looks like he's still able to continue. Yes, he's still able to continue.
Yeah,
Good for
somehow.
him.
Somehow he's been braving through it. Yep, and on board Streeter perhaps as he's trying to close in on the likes of Cube Rabi, quickly switching back to RB Ferrero soon enough. Those soft runners, they seem to be not doing themselves a favor, battling it out between each other, but they're nowhere within each other's range, you could say. But Freeze, after all, retired from the session.
Yep. Into the pits he went and retired, called it a day. I think he's had enough of today, and that means he will be, probably the only non-finisher for today. There he goes.
Yeah, probably. Oh, Streeter now closing in on Kuberabi. It did seem like he is awfully close to the likes of Kuberabi, but KDB up ahead on the likes of Siknig. Lap number 18, folks, don't go anywhere. Things have just started to stir.
Yep, and it's hitting up really. They are battling, and right behind them in P8 and P9, Big Man Joe and RB Fellow, 2 veterans that we know. They have the pace. They are catching up to Baby Shumi, first of the medium runners up ahead. 7 positions for them to fight. Will they get all 7? These 2 soft runners? Time will tell.
Yeah, and now they can't play the catch-up game anymore at the final corner because the gaps are just too big. Siknig still ahead of the likes of KDB, but Streeter seems to be closing in on Kuberabi yet again. But we've seen this.
KDB, this is the move coming in on Siknig. Siknig finally out of DRS. No DRS, he's left defenseless. KDB makes the move even before the braking zone again. KDB up into P2 he goes. Next up is Andre. RB Fellow. Fresh onto the softs, sets the fastest lap, and he's making a move on Big Man Joe, looks like it, but no, stays back. Just another corner.
Oh, Streeter after all down the inside of Kuberabi, the wheel to wheel in sector 1, and he's gotten the move done. He's up in a P4 now. He's on a mission of his own.
Yep, everyone is just going for the gaps that they see. The longer it goes, the more battle we have. Let's just keep it that way.
Yeah, and RB Ferrero seemed to be within 2 tenths of Big Man Joe. Now seem to be over half a second. A gap built up between the 2 drivers. Of course, at the back of the pack, surprising to see the likes of Gouts running P12 left at the back half of the pack. But it's still lap number 19, still considerably early into this race.
Yeah, and Big Man Joe, they're getting a little impatient behind Baby Shumi. And that's just inviting RB Fellow, who's the 3rd man in the train. Looks like he might just go for a move even before Parabolica ends. No, he's staying back once more. But these 2 are definitely on a mission to get past this blockage of Mercedes. Double move might be on the horizon here. Baby Shumi gets a poor run coming out of Parabolica. And there we go. Big Man Joe and RB Fellow are already through.
And
right now, there we go. And they're through.
There you go. But almost 3 abreast into turn 1. Baby Shumi is obviously going to hold back and tuck right back behind RB Ferrello. RB Ferrello is just hanging on to the ride with Big Man Joe leading, but for how much longer? He tucks right behind Big Man Joe. This is a battle for P7 for now. On lap number 20, Big Man Joe tries his best to hold off RB Ferrello. They're going to be wheel to wheel perhaps into the next corner. RB Ferrello around the outside, peaks, doesn't make the move. He's going to hold back by time.
Both of them on considerably, equally fresh tires. So ideally they want to be working together to get as high up they can. And if these drivers have any sense of working together, I think they might just be doing that for now. Tow along each other, beat DRS, get as many positions as you want, and battle out on the last 2 or 3 laps.
Because That would be the ideal game plan. Back into the front of the pack, of course, KDB. That gap of half a second to Sicknick hasn't gone anywhere. And with Streeter now closing in, things might just unravel quite differently compared to having Kuberabi on your gearbox.
Yeah, I think Streeter here has a really good shot at the race win. It's only 7 laps to go, but looking at the battery levels of everyone ahead of him, Streeter is having like 60 to 70% more than everyone ahead of him. So he's just biding his time over here.
Yeah,
he's just waiting for a move.
Yeah, but Main Street, speaking about moves, RB Ferrero, he's gotten it done on Big Man Joe, and he's up in a P7, gets a nasty exit out of turn 1, but somehow is still up ahead of Big Man Joe, and will stay ahead, I'm sure, for now.
Yep, next up ahead for them is the Ferrari man of Harry Rocks. 5 seconds is the gap. Will that be closed down? Or are they gonna battle hard enough that Harry Rocks is gonna be safe there? Looks like RB Fellow is straight away on the case once again. He's pushing. He's not going to slow down.
Yep. KDB on Sicknig. Yeah. Closing in and around the outside. He's going to line up alongside of him as well. Late braking in the next corner. Incredibly close between the two drivers. And no contact as it seemed like. But Sicknig
and there we go. Streeter takes advantage. And this is his chance to get a position on Sicknig. Takes P4. Takes P3. Looks like it.
Oh no, they stay wheel to wheel. They stay wheel to wheel. And into the final corner. They're going to continue to stay wheel to wheel. They haven't touched wheels either. So on to the main straight. This battle continues.
Yeah, and someone is not getting a DRS, and that is KDB. He's gonna be vulnerable. Two drivers right on his gearbox. 3 wide into turn 1. Who's gonna come out ahead? A little bit of contact there. Streeter goes around the other. KDB defends the inside. And Streeter gets the inside into turn 2. But KDB still stays ahead. Sicknick, Kuberabi now, everyone within sight of each other.
How KDB survived that, I will never know. But somehow he holds on to P2 now. Sicknick falling down to P4. But he's trying his best to come back for those positions he's lost. Meanwhile, in the midfield, nothing's changed as such. Big Manjo still on the tail of RB Ferrelos. We are on lap number 22, folks. And right about soon enough, you will be seeing a poll pop up on the live stream. It's for Road Runner of the Day. Make sure you cast your votes.
And speaking about RB Fellow, the gap is really not coming down that quickly to Harry Rocks. Only 3/10 gain in the last lap. So have they overused the soft tires, burn them off too early and not able to catch up, or just the mediums are just settling into a good rhythm right now?
Yep. I go with mediums getting into a good rhythm on lap number 22. 11 lap over mediums. And Streeter seems to be the one who's been the opportunistic of the lot so far. He's in P3 running in a podium position, having started nowhere close to it. He's on to KDB's gearbox.
Make a move on KDB. This might be his opportunity now. Pulls onto the inside into turn 1. Gets the braking right. A little bit wide there. KDB will try to get him back on the exit. Sicknick as well. They're on each other's gearbox. Streeter though, mindful, he has a 3-second penalty to worry about, so he has to pull the gap. But Andre has pulled out a 3-second gap as well, so he's clear up ahead. Oh, they're still going side by side.
Yeah. KDB, he wanted it back, but Streeter now up in a P2, and KDB's lost his rear. Onto the grass he goes. He loses the position to Sicknick, and then to Kuberabi. He's lost 2 positions for a fumble. He tries to come back and stays wheel to wheel with Kuberabi, and that's the ghosted car of Drunken Monkey in the mix as well. KDB, however, up ahead of Kuberabi now.
Yeah, and now Harry Rock senses an opportunity and tries to go around the outside of Kuberabi into a Scary. Who's gonna make out ahead? Kuberabi stays just ahead. Harry Rocks has to yield the position. You're not going to go too wide in a Scary.
Okay, Kuberabi now down into P5. KDB, a fumble that costed him quite a bit. Now down into P4. Sicknick now up into the podium position. So everything changes lap after lap. Apart from one thing, which is Andre pulling away in the race lead.
Yeah, but now, crucially, the gap is down under 3 seconds, 2.4. 6/10 taken away by Streeter. And he is closing in on Andre lap by lap. But that's Sicknick and Streeter. They are fighting. So that means just another lap for Andre to survive up in front. Sicknick now up into P2. 3-second penalty for him as well. So will he be able to hold on to this lead that he has to KDB.
Yeah, this is going to go down to the very final lap of this race. Meanwhile, in the midfield, RB Ferrello has lost that position which he had gained on Big Man Joe. Big Man Joe running P7 with the likes of RB Ferrello P8.
And yeah, it looks like these two soft runners have been catching up to the pack again, because look at that, Andre on Signig onwards, P3 to P7. They're all within a train and they're holding up each other, which means RB Fellow and Big Man Joe are back in the train. So last lap moves maybe on the horizon.
Yeah, they might have just heard you, Dalvin, and might have just worked together to ensure they close that gap. Yeah.
Yep, under 2 seconds now, and Harry Rocks, he's not waiting. He's going for a move on Kuberabi, side by side almost. Kuberabi has to yield the position into Parabolica. Harry Rocks goes ahead. But now Kuberabi gets the taste of the DRS, and out of Parabolica. Looks like Kuberabi is not getting a good exit. He's into the pits. Kuberabi is into the pits and gets a 5-second speeding penalty as well to add on to his misery. This hard tires may not have served him well. Looks like he might just go for a fastest lap and a wing change. Sarthak. Something's happened there.
Opportunity though for the likes of Big Man Joe and RB Ferrello. We're on lap number 25. So much more to come in these last couple of laps of the Italian GP of Season 5 of the Bwoah Racing League. Streeter still in P3. KDB's gap to him has gone over 1.5 seconds now. And Irox24 2 seconds off of KDB.
Yeah, and penalties might just come in clutch at the end of the race. So drivers who have kept it clean for the likes of KDB, Andre, Big Man Joe has a 5 there, but RB Ferrello and Baby Shumi, they might just gain some positions at the end. So let's see if they can make up some extra positions and gain advantage at the end. But in the meantime, Streeter right behind Signig here within half a second, heading down to the Parabolica. 2 laps to go after this. It's now or never to make the move.
Yeah, you could call them the midfield pair for today. They're closing in on their first rival up in front, Hyrox24. Now within a second of the likes of Big Man Joe and RB Ferrello. Sector 3 lights up yellow. Seems like a slow-moving McLaren getting involved with a possible spin perhaps. But Big Man Joe, he's got DRS, and around the outside of Hyrox24 should be able to get the move done into turn 1. Cleanly done even before the turn.
Yep, and runs a little wide though. Big Man Joe now, he might just be under attack by Hyrox once again. But RB Fellow is also attacking Hyrox. So how this transpires at the end of this straight into turn 4. RB Fellow is gaining on him. Around the outside he goes. Can he pull off a move around the outside? RB Fellow, no, he keeps it safe for another lap. This might just be too late, but 2 laps to go. He has to make a move now.
Yeah, and meanwhile, as it stands, Roadrunner of the day, the guy in contention, of course, is Streeter with 57% of the votes going his way. But all eyes on Streeter himself as he's closing in on the likes of Signig. This is for P2, provisionally, of course, mind you, penalties still in play.
Yep, and well, penalties aside, I think they just want to settle on track, and looks like that's the ego play coming in. Let's settle it on track. Driver to driver start.
But RB Ferrello on Hyrox24 weaves to the right and down the inside. He should have the position. Hyrox24 trying to stay wheel to wheel with him onto the main straight, but won't have what he needs. And on lap number 27, RB Ferrello on P6.
Hyrox, yep, he indeed has what he needs. He has that extra bit of DRS and battery power of ERS, and ahead he pulls, and into P6 he goes once again. RB Fellow though,
things have changed. It's season 4 all over again. The race leader, he stumbled down the order to P3. Dalvin, he's down. Andre's down at a P3. It's Streeter on the likes of Signig, the wheel to wheel into a corner, and somehow he's run wide. Signig, Kuberabi sets the fastest lap time. Signig leads this race on lap number 27, the last lap.
Yeah, and he was kind of forced wide. He had to run wide intentionally there to avoid a collision, but he keeps P1 for now. He still has the 3 seconds to worry about, which means it might not be his race win come, a few more corners. Yep. Oh, this is getting very tense, Sarthak.
Yeah, on track, it's again almost wheel to wheel between these two. Up in front, Andre. Whoa, I wonder what happened to him. A completely wide goes Streeter. He's spinning. He's into the board. Not on lap number 27. Not in sector 3. He's possibly tumbling down the order. And across the final corner comes Sicknig. But he's got 3 seconds to his name. So it doesn't. So it's not going to matter much that he crosses the finish line first out on track. Because it's quite the race from the likes of the man who started in pole position. Andre wins the Italian GP of Bwoah Racing League Season 5.
What a
KDB.
KDB comes on for P2.
Oh,
Sicknick, what a drive.
We've got
Takes
it.
P3.
We've
Takes
got
P3.
another retirement out on track. It's Drunken Monkey on the main straight. He finishes the race in P14, but he has retired the front right completely off the car.
Yeah, I think that might have been right after crossing the line.
Yeah.
So, you know, the usual. Let's drive around the track and kill the tires at the end. Yep, and all drivers, apart from Mr. Wax and BRL Wix, who are still out on track, waiting for them to come across the line. So, well, what a grid we've had. Harry Rocks, impressing for the Tifosis, finishes up in P4. Big Benjo as well, all the way from the back. RB Fellow, way from the back. Started last in P15, P5 and C respectively for them. What a drive for them as well.
Yeah, what a drive. What a drive by the likes. Whoa, what a final
Hey,
lap.
Sartek,
Yeah.
have you noticed? Have you noticed it? We had a Monza 2020. We have an AlphaTauri on the top step of the podium. There we go.
There you go.
And yes, Propsy, right at the right time. Cue that music as well. AlphaTauri wins at Monza. Home race win, baby. What's better than that?
Yeah, driver of the day, of course, RB Ferrello 14. He's no stranger for the driver of the day here in BRL, and rightfully so, it goes for him. For the folks watching, apologies if you encountered issues with the live stream itself. I think we did, and that in the final lap. Unfortunate, incredibly unfortunate for the folks watching. Hopefully, we've gotten it on tape, however. Yeah, but that is the podium. Andre on the top step of the podium, KDB P2, and Sicknig finishing it off in P3. What a way to finish a race. What a race overall. My oh my.
Iwarabi, well, as a consolation for the McLarens, picks up the Thunder lap for now. 21.8. Pretty close there at the end.
Yeah, incredibly close. And the Roadrunner of the day ends, and it is I'm so unfortunate to see the result.
Oh no. So painful to watch, yeah.
Streeter
Picks up the Roadrunner of the day, but unfortunately, that fumble coming out of a scary chicane, that one corner that did not catch him, 26 laps, caught him on the last one, and there his race went